So here's the thing about the Biden attack on fossil fuels. America is rejecting his whole radical green climate agenda and his big government socialism. Joining me now is Katie Pavlich, townhall.com editor and Fox News contributor, and Guy Benson, host of the Guy Benson radio show and Fox News contributor. Thank you, kids. We'll put some stuff on the full screen. This is a TIPS poll, T-I-P-P. 32% support the climate agenda. 57% don't. 11% don't know. I don't know what they know. And then there's another one, the Monmouth poll. This is what top concern for Americans. I love this. You have to really scroll down. 33 inflation, 15 gas prices, 9 the economy, 6 everyday bills. Whoops, 1% climate change. Katie Pavlich, I mean, not only is this an economic loser and a climate loser, this here's a political loser for Biden.
Well, that 33% is pretty close to his approval rating. So maybe those are the same people who still support President Biden. But this climate change, Green New Deal, environmentalism plan is suicidal for 2 reasons. First, politically, because the majority of Americans are struggling with gas prices down. 90% of people say it's negatively affecting their home budgets. And the other reason is that it's destroying the economy, and it will for a long time. So, you talk about the Keystone Pipeline. You had one of President Biden's advisors today saying that they don't want these oil companies to invest long term after the president was publicly berating them for not exploring more. The Keystone Pipeline was the first indications to the oil industry that this administration was going to wage a war on them by sowing uncertainty into the market. So when you take away a pipeline that costs millions and millions of dollars in investment overnight, an industry is not going to be able to put money into the future. And today we have confirmation that's exactly what they don't want them to do. So, it's bad for the economy, it's bad for the world, and it's also bad for the Democrats politically, especially as they go into the midterm elections.
Can we play this since you referred to it? You're talking about Amos Hochstein, president. All right, we don't have it. I'll just read you a quick. He's saying it's about making a choice between short term and medium term so we can make sure we have enough oil and gas to support us through the transition. I love that, the transition. And what are the kinds of steps we don't want the oil and gas industry to take would have long-term consequences. So why would you invest at all?
And long-term investments. He was saying that's not what they want from these oil companies. And that's not how business works, right? I'm not an economist. I'm not a business guy, but I know enough to ask good questions. And I was talking to Senator Rick Scott on the radio just a few minutes ago. His entire background is in business. And I said, how does that work if you're a business owner or you're an industry and you have the government telling you, do all of these things for us right now to help deal with some of the temporary pain that the American people are feeling, jump through all these hoops and get it done. But don't you think for a second about investing longer term because we don't want you. We still want to put you out of business a few years down the line. Is that something that businesses are going to respond positively to? And the senator said, of course not. If you feel like the government is out to get you, is openly hostile to you, you're not going to invest all of that money because you're going to be in more of a defensive position to try to make sure that you survive. So these are these arguments and these demands that are being made that are really at war with each other, where they want their cake and they want to eat it too in the Biden administration. Do what we want right now, but we still want you gone.
Yeah.
From day one, actually from the campaign, I want to end fossil fuels. So you're running an energy company. So you say, up, the gig's up. Then you repeat it. And through your inauguration, and as you noted, stopping the pipeline, which was as much symbol as reality, is both, sends a message, we don't like you. So now then you come back a year later and blame the oil companies? I just don't. You see, you can't have your cake and eat it too. But politically, so here's people are not stupid. American voters are not as stupid as the Bidens think. Okay, that's what I want to say.
Well, and his administration officials, Pete Buttigieg, transportation secretary, has repeatedly said that, maybe Americans should relook at their budgets and take a look at their gas prices and maybe take that money and put it into an electric vehicle instead. At the meantime, the reality of this plan is starting to come to fruition in places like California, where they're telling people who already have electric cars, please don't plug them into the grid during peak hours because it will cause blackouts in California, which is supposed to be this utopia of environmentalism and the path forward for the country. The other thing is, how do they think that they're going to get things out of the ground to build electric batteries in cars. I mean, last time I checked, we don't have an electric-powered backhoe or equipment, mining equipment, to get this stuff out of the earth and across the ocean to fulfill this fantasy they have about every American driving an electric car.
Are you saying that getting it out of the ground would release carbon emissions?
I'm just saying you would have to use fuel. You'd have to use oil and gas to put into those vehicles to get the stuff they want to make cars out of the ground. I mean, basic stuff.
I don't know. Some of them have to be smart enough to understand how this actually works in the real world. But here they are again, stuck with their own conflicting talking points. This transition that they keep talking about is going to be painful. It is especially painful because of what we're experiencing right now. They don't like that politically. But ideologically, the pain is the point.
Yeah.
Because that's what the transition requires. They just wish they could get away with it a little bit better if economic and political circumstances would allow it. But it's so acute, the pain is so bad that they're now stuck with this incoherent message because the pain is the point, and the pain is being visited on the American people, and that pain could be transferred very quickly to their political party. Then the transition goes away, or is at least delayed.
Katie, there's a debate about the gas prices coming down. It seems to me that Biden has jumped ship from Putin and now is taking credit for a 50-cent reduction in gasoline. But the part I was waiting for is, after he attacked the gas station owners, did I miss this? He must have been out today praising them.
I hope he's thanking them.
Isn't he thanking them?
No, instead he's flying to Massachusetts tomorrow to give a big speech about how they should probably do more to lower their prices. You know, they condition. I said a couple weeks ago when you saw these talking points coming, well, they're conditioning to people to think that because gas is $5 a gallon now, that if it's $4.50, you're winning somehow and things are better. That's obviously not true. And politically, Democrats are losing their coalition as a result of this issue that they have. It's self-inflicted.
Yeah, and I guess this is how it works. The president has no control over gas prices unless they're going down and he's a Democrat.
And then he's in charge of all of it.
And then it's just like, you're welcome, America, right? That's how that works.
Exactly
it doesn't make any sense. This was Putin's price hike. Is this Putin's price reduction?
Right. I think Putin gave us a 50%.
It was also what greedy oil companies they talked about. Did the greed go on summer vacation?
He also called them unpatriotic. Are they patriotic now that these prices have
you
gone
didn't
down?
hear the news conference where he thanked the gas station owners? I didn't hear it either. I was just saying maybe
he had nothing on his public
tomorrow.
schedule.
Maybe he's taking Air Force One, which is an airplane with fossil fuels, to Massachusetts to talk about it.
He had nothing on his public schedule yesterday, nothing on his public schedule today, the one-year anniversary of him saying that inflation wasn't going to be a thing. So maybe it's better for him to lie low.
He's very busy, very busy.
Gas is at $4.50. I believe around his inauguration, gas was about $2.25.
I believe that's correct.
I really wouldn't take a victory lap just yet on that, hey?
They're losing on everything, so they're taking what they can.
Katie Pavlich and Guy Benson pointing out some of the incongruities in the Biden position. Thank you, kids. Fabulous stuff.